here we are today with that allegation. Trump came out. There's been some tit for tat in the afternoon, and they seem to be going nuclear on this whole subject matter. Now, I have to say, before I start, everybody watching the show, please take a deep breath. Breathe in, hold it in for 5 seconds, and then breathe out. Okay. This was, again, some of the big advice that Janine was picking up throughout the weekend and also on the Monday and Wednesday show, seeing that things were going to get even more crazy. She said, practice discernment, practice detachment. And as the crazy news unfolds, don't jump necessarily right away to Twitter to get on the bandwagon here. Let things play out a little bit. So we're going to try to follow our own advice and let it play out a little bit. But that being said, Meg was kind enough to replace me today during the viewer question show, and they were live as this was breaking. And of course, all the viewers wanted to know and wanted Janine to pull on this. So first, interestingly enough, if you hadn't already seen it, Janine recorded the quick draw Thursday today at 2, where she was looking at this weird kind of play relationship happening between Trump and Elon Musk. We kind of touched it last night also on the Beyond the News. Janine, let's start just putting some of the data pieces together for the people who haven't watched anything this week and who don't know what we're talking about. What were you getting today in the quick draw about what appears to be a planned fight of sorts between Elon Musk and Donald Trump? What were you getting today? Let's start there.
Well, it was already kind of revving up the last day or two before this big breaking news where it went nuclear, as you say.
Yeah.
It was looking like a tit for tat already starting with both of them. And then, of course, we had the black eye thing where he shows up with a black eye, some lame excuse that his as if they can't cover that up. If he, with all the black eye news in the truther world, I don't think they would have let him come on with a black eye if it was just naturally occurring, like his son, threw a ball at him or something. Right. So what I got was that this was a good cop, bad cop situation where the white hats is a big psyop where these two people are playing, one's playing Trump, one's playing Elon, and they're using the ball going back and forth between the two of them to really out some things. I didn't know exactly what, but I also got that it was also teaching us, because this is a spiritual war we're in, and we're upgrading in personal integrity, personal connection to the universe, our own soul essence and connection to soul, but also upgrading in our really keeping close contact with our knowing. Right. So our intuitive knowing and discernment. And I feel like the White Hat Alliance has been doing this a lot with some of their psyops, where they're teaching humans to not put anybody on a pedestal, even if it's who you think Trump is. Yeah. Even if what if you really liked Elon Musk? Lots of people did. Even if because all of them are human. They all got faults. And also, we should never hold anybody, up on that kind of pedestal ever again. That's what got us into the kind of trouble we're all in. And I bet a lot of patriots and truther community that love Trump were just not really looking into his big, beautiful bill. I'm not saying all of them, but lots of them probably, because they were just trusting Trump. Okay, Trump's putting forward this big, beautiful bill. But when you actually look at it, and what Elon was saying was getting people to look more into it, it gives free rein to AI and AI companies. And it's actually scary and horrifying. And even if it's Trump and who you think Trump is putting it forward, you better question what's going on and have a say in it, because our future depends on it.
Absolutely. And in that bill also, they appear to be removing the powers from the states at the state level to also legislate around AI. And if you, people were saying today, had I known that, I wouldn't have voted for it. Like, well, why didn't you read it? That's why we pay you the big bucks. Yep. You and I got a little bit of backlash Monday and Wednesday because we were questioning also this big, beautiful bill, saying, hey, wait a second, let's look under the hood here. Let's not just trust blindly. And we were kind of on the same page with Elon here. Like, let's look at it. And of course, for some people, Trump can do no wrong. For us, no, we just follow the evidence where it leads us. And in that show, too, we kept repeating, no, we have to ask questions and we have to stay engaged. Otherwise, not asking questions is what led us to the predicament we are in now. And we don't want a repeat of that. And so I think for the most part, the audience was with us on that. But now this has escalated this to another level. So I have a few clips I want to play. Meg has been really, really kind today, too, in her busy schedule to provide us with some astrology clips that's going to kind of tie all of this together to kind of understand. Okay, before I get to I want to start with kind of an opinion. I don't do that often. I usually let my guests speak and let the audience decide for themselves as I present both sides of the story. But I am going to present an opinion here tonight because it's irking me a little bit, this whole situation. Before I do that, Meg, right now, you've been picking up on this too in all your shows. It's going to get crazy. It's going to get crazier. This is just another indication here of everything's about to change. Cliff High just posted a video today too. It's called The End of the World as We Know It. He posted that earlier this morning before this news came out. But he's just saying all of these structures have to go. And we're going to see the turmoil of all of that change happening in real time, but also in an accelerated fashion. That's what he was warning us of this morning as he was recording at 6 a.m. Where are you right now? Just you personally dealing with this, doing the personal consultations for people. How are people coping with the rapid rate of change here and what appears to be the end of the world as we know it happening in real time? Meg.
Yeah. Well, I feel like we're all doing a pretty good darn job for what we're going through and the knowledge that we have and operating day to day, doing our basic functional needs. I think we're doing a pretty good job. I'm finding I'm having really big swings in how I'm feeling energetically. I have moments where I'm really happy and I'm excited and I'm feeling really good. And then there's other moments where I feel really intense grief sweeping over me for no reason at all that feels very, very intense. So maybe the old world dying, maybe that has to do with it, and the new one coming in. It really feels like we're in between two worlds right now, and that's showing up in the astrology as well. So it's totally unprecedented times astrologically, and I think we're all picking up on that in different ways.
Okay. I too, and Janine to some extent too, we've been talking about this for the last 2 weeks. We're feeling this weird wave of emotion. We go to bed one day, we have this dread. Whose dread is that? Why is that here? The next day we're kind of more blasé about it. And we're kind of oscillating as well. We're feeling that. Janine also, I think it was on the Monday show, you had the vision of the wolf when you were driving to Vancouver. And then you picked up on why that wolf was there specifically and the warning that was at. Can you just share that quickly, that warning, why that wolf was there and what you also saw? Was it the badger or the what's the other animal?
Badger. Or no, raccoon.
Raccoon, yeah. Share that very quickly in 2 minutes here, what that warning was all about in terms of circling the wagons here for something to come, basically. Say that, Jean.
Yeah, well, I think the wolf was about like come into our highest teacher. Like we're all going to be teachers, everybody in the community, and in particular the truthers that are out in the public and putting themselves out there. We're going to need to teach and guide. We really will, whether we like it or not. We're going to be the leaders of the pack. So wolf can be about signifying that it's time for your teacher to step up. And the way the wolf came out of the wilderness, just as we were driving by, I was going by in a cab, it was just looking straight at me. And I felt energetically, you have to just feel what's going on. And it felt like a real positive motion towards my highest teacher has to come out. So we need to be patient, tolerant, and leaders. Okay. So I feel like we're going to be asked to lead. And then I saw in the same day, so that was on the way to the airport, then on the way home from the airport on the other end, so Haida Gwaii, a raccoon in the exact same position, just coming out of a grouping of trees in the wilderness and staring right out at the road, just as I'm going by, catching my eye. And it was looking straight at me. And when you read raccoon it's like kind of like a Robin Hood of this uh, animal world, I guess. So it was a really positive aspected raccoon too. And there's ways that I figure that out, and I've talked about it on other shows, so I won't do that right now. But the raccoon wants to remind us that we need to be generous and always serve the community. So raccoons always feed their community people's, like, or I guess raccoons first. So a raccoon or a group of raccoons will go into, an area to collect food. And on the other raccoons left behind are busy watching out for them, so watching their back and also keeping them fed. Okay, so they take care of their own while those other ones are out there scavenging and what raccoons do, right? In neighborhoods or where in the forest or wherever they are. Okay, so we're going to all, as a community, I felt like that was for the whole community. We're going to have to watch our backs and also watch our friends' backs. So everybody in the community, I feel like we could be attacked here. There could be a lot of things. Deep State's going to try everything. It's all they got left, directly coming into the community and trying to disrupt. So I feel like we all need to watch each other's backs, have each other's backs, be kind to each other, and bring up our best foot forward teacher within.
Right. And manage your stress levels. Like, for the love of God, do everything you can, the sleep, the exercise, the supplements, manage your stress. Because if you look at the emotional tension values, the weekly chart that Cliff provided, we're right on that date of that first week. And here we are today with high emotional tension values, of course, and it's only going to get worse until October. Those are the peak for this year in October. So yes, manage your stress, everyone. Okay, so I have a question for the audience first. Let me see if I can bring that on the screen. To everybody watching here on Rumble right now, and we're also on X, but for some reason it didn't land on X. I don't think we're live on X. I got an error message as we went live. An error has occurred on X. This suddenly temporary. Wait a minute and try again. I'll try to put it live. I'll see if it'll work. Hold on. Okay, there you go. We might have lost like that first intro on X, but apparently it's working now. So my question is for the audience members, before I give you my opinion, do you think that indeed Trump is involved in a very nefarious way with Epstein? Yes or no? Just type in yes if you think so. There's a possibility of it. Or no, hell no, I don't think so. I'm curious what you guys think. Now I'm going to tell you what I think, but we'll see what the audience think here. And there's no right or wrong answer. What do you think right now with the data available to you? What's your heart telling you? What's your soul telling you? And I'm not asking you to suspend disbelief. If there's new evidence that we can look at, well, of course we'll look at it, follow, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just like, just try, we're having an adult conversation here. This is what I'm saying. So as I saw that, I came back and I'm kind of like, well, I have to hurry and take a shower and get the show done. And Sarah's telling me this. I'm like, what? So I was thinking about it in the shower. I'm like, hold on a second. There's no new information. Again, there's nothing provided by Elon Musk in that particular comment. But I know one thing, the captured judicial system, the weaponization of the justice system over the last number of years has done every single thing in their power to bring down Trump. It was one lawsuit after another, one frivolous lawsuit after another, some duplicated, some, exaggerated. We went as far as creating a PP dossier that apparently Fusion GPS paid for, that created this whole Russia thing, which resulted in a nothing burger. And we had grab her by the pussy and maybe a Stormy Daniels, right? That's it. That's what they got on Trump, and that's what they were pushing forward on top of all of this legal stuff, legal lawfare. So I'm like, you think for a minute that if they had this information, they would have used it before, because it went nuclear. When Hillary was supposed to win and Trump won instead, they could have used it right there to stop him in his tracks. They didn't. So think of the ramifications. If it's true that this information exists and the DOJ has it, the weaponized Democratic, Biden, Hillary Clinton, Obama, DOJ sat on this for years. Think of the damage that's going to cause moving forward if that was true. Again, doesn't make sense. Is it possible? Maybe. Okay. We'll have to see. But again, we haven't been told or showed if there's any new evidence in that story. We all know that Trump was in the black book. So was 20,000 important people in the world. It was a Rolodex. Doesn't mean that there's nefarious activities. Those are two very different things. You can't mix those up. But whether or not he was there engaging in nefarious activities, whether that's trafficking, whether that's actually hurting children, that's a whole other story. So in my opinion right now, I still don't see it. We hadn't seen it for a number of years. Janine has also pulled on it for a number of years. Right now, I still don't see it. So I'm open to looking at new evidence. If it comes up, we'll take a look at it. But that's my point right now. It doesn't make sense. And also, another reason why it doesn't make sense, when Elon Musk was given the Doge department, all the Democrats were like, we can't trust him. He won't be safe. And that's why they were in court preventing him from having access to the Treasury and Social Security, because we can't just trust him with information. So if he used his privilege and his job to obtain this information and now leak it out of the bounds of our judicial system, he's only proving what the Democrats were saying, that he cannot be trusted with government information. Again, doesn't make sense that Elon would do that. So those are just two very technical aspects. I can give you 10 more, but I could stop there. I'm just like, okay, unless you show me something new, I'm kind of done with this. It's already a nothing burger. My opinion. A lot of people in the chat kind of agree with that. Janine, where are you right now? And then we're going to look at some astrology as well.
I'm 100% with you on your opinion, and I have the same exact opinion.
Okay. In the chat, those who think yes, I'd love you to tell me why you think he's implicated, and what's new in the field to make you think that now versus a day ago where Elon Musk didn't say it. I'm curious if you can back that up with an argument, a feeling, a link to something that kind of changes the equation a little bit. And then, of course, we're going to look at it. We're having an adult conversation. Meg, your thoughts on that? Where you stand today?
I'm exactly right with both of you. Totally. Yeah. I don't feel energetically that he's one of the bad guys in the Epstein files. Of course, many people were in the logs of the planes that were in the same circles. Like you said, JC, that we're not getting any new information. We've just got a very serious public accusation, right, from someone closely associated with Trump, which is very, very serious. And it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out.
Well, it's also defamatory. It could set up Elon for $1 billion lawsuit. And Trump's winning his lawsuits with the different media companies who aired him during the campaign, right, as of late. So, again, it doesn't really make sense unless they're playing another game. And so I've been scanning Twitter since got out of the shower preparing for the show, and I see a lot of angry Democrats saying, we want those files released now. Suddenly they want them released, but they weren't saying boo for the last number of years. We were screaming for the files to be released, but it felt like, delay, and nobody really cared. Suddenly they all fucking care because, Trump's on it and they're like, see, he's an asshole, JC. I told you. So they want to prove themselves right. But I guess if that's the way that we're going to force Pam Bondi and the DOJ to put it out, maybe it's a good tactic. So could it be that that's exactly what's happening? They're trolling everybody to put this pressure just for him to be able to say, hey, look, it's here. I'm not on it. But guess who is? And here's the hammer coming down on the rest of these people, right? Is that what we're going to be treated to? Janine, let me pull up your card view. Let's do a first poll on that. And let me know, guys, is this the play? Is that really what we're watching here right now? The setup for the indignation now from the Democrats and to some extent some of the normies also finally paying attention to this. It's no longer conspiracy theory. They want to see the list here, if only to put Trump down, but that brings the list out nevertheless, and it achieves the objective of stopping this stalemate that we appear to be in terms of releasing this information. Is that what's happening now? Give me a yes. If you think no, give me no. Let's see. Janine, what do the cards say?
I think it is going to bring out the truth of the whole situation. And it is going to speed things up and make it really obvious what's really going on. See that Two of Swords there? It's going to bring that to an end. So end the stopping. I feel like it's all on purpose to push this forward and get the truth to the general population where they'll actually be paying attention because they're expecting Trump to be on it. I think you're right on.
Huh. Okay. The question is now, is that going to work? Is there enough wherewithal within the DOJ or whatever forces are behind DOJ and Pam Bondi who are slowing this down, putting their brake on this? Does this kick them out of their capacity to hold this? And are the files coming out? Yes or no? And give me a timeline if you want to do clarifiers.
Okay, I'm pulling clarifiers because that kind of relates to what we got here. So we've got the so some of that's going to happen, I'd say. And all of this happens really fast. I feel like this sorts itself out even over the next, I'm going to go with 6 days. I think this could really, really just move tickety-boo on. And within 6 days, we could already... this has taken a totally different look in 6 days from where it is. Kind of like what I was saying last night, that you need to just keep watching these things. Or was it Monday night I was saying that? I think it was Monday.
Yeah, you said you need to watch things roll out a little bit more before you get all whipped up about things.
Yeah.
Okay. Meg, anything you want to add before I bring in some chart data as well here just on this question?
Yeah, well, it's interesting just astrologically that we have a full moon in Sagittarius next week on June 11th, exactly conjunct President Trump's South Node and Moon, which both have to do with the past, people from the past, situations from the past. That full moon is also conjunct the rising of the United States. And this situation doesn't surprise me, even if it's theater, because ever since October, November, we've been having Mars on and off in the sign of Leo, transiting on and off over President Trump's 12th house of hidden enemies. So I've been looking at his administration like, okay, there's a hidden enemy here. Who is this? Whether it's an actual hidden enemy or someone playing the part of it. And we get to see that is now looking like it's Elon. So
okay,
big battle. Okay.
And at the very least, they might just be playing the archetype, using that energy to perpetuate the objective at hand. That seems to be the point here. So I saw another meme earlier today or this afternoon. I was like, oh yeah, that was a good one. Yeah, next, call me a retard. Yeah, okay, let's do that. So it's kind of odd. And I saw Viva Frey's commentary just before we went live. And he's of opinion that what we saw on the screen, cannot possibly be happening because it would discredit Trump. That was his opinion. And like, to some extent, I understand why he's saying that, but I don't necessarily agree. Trump has been playing and trolling in these types of manners since he's been in office. So I don't think this is new. The level of the rhetoric and the go nuclear effect or score turf that we're seeing here today, yeah, that's new, but that's also indicative that we're almost at the end here, or at the beginning of a very new phase in this war. That's what I think maybe Viva is missing there. I'll invite him on the show. Happy to debate this with him. He and I are always really cool, exchanging ideas, but I think it's possible that this is still happening. Now, just to be fair also, Viva suggested, and quite a few on the Hill also suggested, that we might have to check Elon for his drug use. They're bringing that up as, suddenly now that could be a problem. We gave him Doge, we gave him the rockets to go to Mars, but suddenly we have to question if he's efficient because of his supposed drug use. People are also saying, maybe something's changed. He's just lost it. He's lost his bonkers. Something happened. Let's do a poll, Janine. Let's cover that base in case something has. Has he just been replaced by a clone? Has he been just compromised and blackmailed to the point where he has to do this and it's no longer in his control? Is he, as some are suggesting here, way too high and saying things that he would never say otherwise? or is this just a big show? He's part of the magician here in the movie magic.
Wow, there's the card for the day. It looks like that 6 of Pentacles. Things are going to work themselves out different and better than you thought. So that's interesting.
Oh, hold on a second here. I lost your... what's happening? The card deck is going wonky. That's supposed to be to the left.
We had that the other day too.
Yeah,
The
it's weird.
StreamYard was being weird.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that, guys. All right.
Okay, it looks like something different altogether. Going to take this in a different direction altogether. I feel like this is all contrived and meant to out somebody, not Trump, but somebody. And interesting, because I almost feel like it's going to out Hillary.
Hillary, yeah.
I feel like it leads to somebody else, and this feels like they're doing it all on purpose. Like this card here feels like, so he's in on whatever's going on.
But I asked you specifically, is Elon on drugs? Has he lost his shit?
No.
Has he been compromised? No. You're not seeing any of those cards there. No.
None of that. No.
What you're seeing is, again, it's contrived and perhaps designed to out a woman. Now we're talking frazzle drip.
And look at what we have for advice. So wait. Okay. Putting yourself. So Trump has allowed once again, and maybe Elon as well, to put themselves in a difficult situation. Trump's been doing this all along. His reputation's been smeared so many times. Think about it, right? Yeah. So he's put himself in a difficult situation to enlighten. Yeah. To enlighten. Okay, so we need to be patient to become enlightened. This will all change direction. The death card, it's going to change completely direction. So it started out here, but I think they're just getting everybody's attention, and it's going to get even crazier.
SGT Justice, Anthony Weiner is back in the picture. I just saw his latest interview. Apparently he wants to run in politics again. This has to be a setup. They're putting him back on stage here just because this information is coming out and he's going to fall on that sword. You want to do a pull on Weiner here, Janine, very quickly? Okay. Yeah, it's kind of, yeah. The timing and the coincidence of that is just too... Yeah. Something's up there. I agree with SGT Justice there. Coincidence, yeah. But Weiner, interestingly enough, because you said expose a woman, Weiner, Uma Abedin directly relates to Hillary Clinton again. So it's like a straight line. Let's do a poll, Janine. Somebody says, let's do a poll on Weiner, but don't pull on your wiener. Okay. That's a whole other show, guys. Who said that? Medium one. That was funny. Thank you, Amber.
Oh my goodness.
We got to laugh. Yeah, let pull on a wiener. Okay.
Okay, so yeah. This is a building tension to create more truth coming out about Weiner and his gang. Right. And yeah, it's going to get crazy. It's like people won't be able to ignore the truth about that whole situation. Like the amount of truth that was on was it his laptop? Was his emails? I think it was his emails. Yeah, it was unbelievable. It would trump anything they could ever get on Trump. And like you said, if they had anything viable, they would have brought it out. In all those years, they were just going for him because they knew all of this was going to happen eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's going to very quickly take us somewhere else. And a lot of people might go down with this one.
Okay. Now, you know what's really, really interesting in all of this, too? And I have to give credit to Meg, Janine, and Jenny Moonstone, and I think Penny Kelly also. Years ago, they all said the same thing. Silver is going to break out when the Epstein stuff really comes to light. The child trafficking, when we're in the thick of it, right? And silver won't break out until that happens. So what happens today? silver breaks out.
Wow.
Alistair McLeod, the economist, says, holy shit, it's Silver Liberation Day. And if you look at the chart here, Chris Marcus is reminding us silver has only been above $36 per ounce 3 times in the history. And we have this crazy cup and handle formation that just broke out now that spell disaster for the silver manipulators. And it spells great fortunes for the people who've been watching these shows, betting on the contrarian, not on the stock market, but betting on silver and gold and to some extent some crypto. They're getting a lot of good news here today with this outing now and this new focus on the Epstein file, presumably hours or days before the release now with all of the mounting tension. So let's look at silver here too. Is this directly related, Janine? Is this a hit? It's honestly a coincidence that it's happening on the same day when this Epstein stuff really goes nuclear for the mainstream normies. It can't be a coincidence. Let's look at silver here. Is it acting on this just as all of you amazing psychic people were telling us for years now?
Yep. It has everything to do with it.
Yeah.
2 major arcanas and an ace. And it'll also some other things will come to light too, some really deep, hidden, murky stuff. So I'm thinking like adrenochrome and stuff that happens underground to children, stuff like that. I feel like that'll line up with this stuff too. Wow, this feels like it leads to a lot of things, including otherworldly or dimensional beings, outing of that, and how they've been around. All these things that have been hidden for so long, and it all seems to line up with silver.
There's no coincidence, says Lakeside Laura. Yeah. Guys, go to beyondmystate.net/silver. If you're looking at getting physical, don't wait because we're in the dollar a day moves now. It truly looks like that on the chart. And of course, we just broke out and we haven't broke out from that pattern in a long, long time. And that's why Alistair McLeod just posted, it's Liberation Day. So after the dollar a day moves, there's the $2 a day moves, then there's the $5 a day moves. Again, if you look at the WebBot data, which Cliff I in his Substack this morning was saying, there's a lot of cross links to what's happening today. And of course, silver is a big one of them. So, and he hadn't had this news yet when he was recording that at 6 a.m. So I'm curious to see what he's going to be posting tomorrow. Check him out on his Substack and get your silver while you still can. JB Sleer. This guy has good posts if you haven't already followed him. He says, ask yourself, who is sitting on the files? Before today, not one of the fake news outlet cared about Epstein. After today, they'll all be screaming for Pam Bondi to release them. Yep, pretty much what's happening right now. And again, lots of normies now suddenly caring about this. So it's going to be fascinating. JC is having a Beavis Butthead laughter moment on pulling the wiener. Did I laugh like Beavis and Butthead? I don't laugh like that. No, it's not the same. But I do have a giggle. Yes, it's kind of a funny day with all this weird news happening. We kind of have to laugh, otherwise, I don't know. I'm trying to manage my stress level at the same time. Okay, Meg, as I'm trying to manage my stress level, and we're trying to encourage people to do the same. You're telling me here with all of the work here that this summer is going to be hard to manage our stress level. The astrology is absolutely unprecedented. What we're seeing is rare indeed and very explosive, if I can say that. Where do you want to start? What's your first chart? If you want to bring it up on your side here, I'll put it on screen.
Yes, for sure. And if I could just preface this, a couple things. First of all, why can't I bring up my screen? Do we need to remove something or
it's acting weird, eh? So let me remove mine.
Yeah.
See if we can do that.
Sorry. Yeah, just wanted to share this meme, which I think is actually something that Trump said one time. Is everybody having a good time? Did you guys ever see that clip of him with the pants all the way up?
Yeah.
He's checking in on the golf club. Is everybody having a good time? So that popped on my feed today, and I laughed really hard.
You know, it's funny you bring that picture up because I was talking to a normie today as I was picking up my branches, And the guy says, you know what's weird? He says, you know, Trump said that Biden was executed and they're using clones. He says, you know, I think it's not always the same Trump. Sometimes he's super fat. Sometimes he's skinny. Doesn't look like him. I'm like, yes, please go on. Yes, you're talking about doubles. Yes, this exists. Yes, yes, you're on the right track. Keep going. Bravo. You know, anyways. So the normies are noticing. So I thought that was absolutely funny. And he was referring to one of these pictures or one of these outings too. Was this the one where he detailed the new haircut too? You and I had done a video on this one, Janine, I think it was.
Yep.
The day he got that haircut, that weird haircut there. All right. Okay, Meg. Let's go
funny.
to
Oh my God.
astrology here. How crazy is summer? What can people expect? And how the hell do we navigate all of this?
So I'll preface this also by saying I feel like this is going to be really different person to person depending on your self-care routine. Okay. So if you are doing those things like you're bringing up, JC and Janine, of taking care of your energy, and we're all completely different people. So for some people, that's meditating, you know, for an hour a day. For some people, that's dancing, hiking. If you are filling up your cup and your self-care, it needs to be on the daily with these energies. I think we're actually going to get through this summer quite well and actually have a lot of fun with it. If on the contrary, you're not taking care of yourself, this is where some of us out there may be getting a burnout. So just be really mindful of the self-care, you guys. I know we're always talking about that. So why is this summer not normal at all? This is absolutely once in a lifetime, unprecedented astrological transits that we're having. From July 7th to September 1st, all of the outer planets will be in air and fire signs. So we've been going through the past 5 years, all of the outer planets in water and earth signs. It's really heavy. It's really kind of dense. It's not very fun and inspiring. So with a lot of these air and fire sign placements, we're moving forward, even though times are challenging, actually in a generally positive direction. If we are taking care of ourselves with the ascension symptoms, we can actually feel uplifted and even more energetic. We're going to notice time and events ramping up even more than they already are. You know, the days so far, there's like all these crazy news stories and developments. It's going to get even more. Not only are all the outer planetary signs significantly changing, but we also have very special astrological aspects happening. Saturn and Neptune are currently in a conjunction within 0 to 1 degrees from now until September 1st. This Saturn-Neptune conjunction in the first degree, 0 degrees, in the first sign Aries, which we have not had since the fall of Babylon, won't be exact until February 2026. This is like such intense stuff, but they'll be almost exact this summer. So this Saturn-Neptune conjunction is the dissolving of the matrix and structures of life that we've known up until this point. Conjunctions are neutral, so there is positive and adverse influence to this. The positive is the matrix is fully crumbling. We've all been waiting for that. The negative is because it's happening in the sign of Aries and at an Aries degree. Aries has a lot to do with our health and physical body. Neptune is the medical system. So there is an astrological potential here for a real, maybe mass medical issue. I don't want that to be the case, you guys, but I have to be honest with you guys with the astrology. So taking care of your health is very, very important at this time. Stocking up on things like ivermectin, antibacterial things, antiviral, because with this kind of conjunction, there's a possibility for actually something real spreading between humans. Maybe it's from the vaxes being released. So I want to be wrong about that.
Well, they're talking about having a second run at this. Okay, it doesn't have wings or it doesn't have legs as per the last couple of readings by Janine, but they still seem to be pushing it. And they've set it up also by having most countries on Earth sign into this new WHO World Pandemic Agreement, save the United States, who didn't sign it. So that's in the cards. So they're using that same energy that you see as a potential to try to catapult that last Hail Mary event. So yeah, take your vitamins and stay ahead of everything for sure. Good advice, Jay.
Yeah, so we're really, really lucky, you guys, that I think we'll get the more positive out of the Saturn-Neptune conjunction than the negative, because Another really special thing that we've got going on is a triple planetary aspect combination. This is extremely rare, and I'll show you guys visually in the chart in a moment. Throughout the summer, all the most outer planets, Pluto, Neptune, and Uranus, will be in a very rare exact positive aspects to each other at the same time. Exact Neptune sextile Pluto, exact Uranus sextile Neptune, and exact Uranus trine Pluto. These are all positive aspects between all three of the most outer planets. So when we're going through challenging times, JC and Janine and everybody, if we had really adverse aspects with Pluto and Saturn, then we would be in trouble. That's what we had at the beginning of 2020 with the Saturn-Pluto conjunction. So with all these actually very positive aspects, even though it's really intense because all the outer planets are changing signs, there's a Saturn-Neptune conjunction, this is actually great cosmic support for us in the ascension process. Divine miracles and positive world breakthroughs can be happening. And again, this is going to be different person to person. Some people, if they're not taking care of themselves, could have like a mental breakdown. And I'm not calling that upon everybody, but if all the systems and structures are dissolving and you're not taking care of yourself in real time and being in the present moment, your body is going to trip out to that, right? Physically, mentally, spiritually. So it's going to be different person to person. Anything that you guys want to add to that before I go to the next slide?
Yes, I wanted to add something earlier when you said self-care, taking care of yourself, to better manage maybe the stress and the rate of change. I would go a little bit further and ask more of the Beyond Mystic community. Generally speaking, I would say self-care, that's good for everybody. For us, I would say, yes, that too, but also if your self-care is in good shape and you have been taking care of yourself, you have the opportunity now to be a better antenna for what Cliff calls qualia, these signs from universe as to what's about to happen, right? So if you're in tune with it, you can surf that motherfucker and better your positions, better your position at work, better your position with your business, with your new endeavors, with your family, with your kids, find a loved one, all that. You can manifest that reality a lot easier when less people are drawing on that because they're all in panic mode with their jaw, slack to the floor, right? So you guys have the opportunity to level up. And I wish that for each and every one of you guys watching the show. So self-care, yes, but also use that as a potential here to manifest as this whole new world is being created. Input what you want. You're the first one out of the gate to receive the benefits from that new world. Don't let that opportunity pass you by. I sound like a midnight commercial, but there's more. No, anyways, I'm just having fun, guys. So I hope that makes sense. I just wanted to add that when you said that earlier. Go ahead, Meg.
That makes total sense, JC.
All right.
And just want to show you guys visually. Okay, so we've got Pluto here throughout the summer. This is actually going to be our next eclipse season. This is the chart for September 7th, Pisces eclipse. All the most outer planets exactly in air and fire signs at 1 degree in perfect positive aspects. So this is extremely supportive. Not everything is going to fall apart and go to shit astrologically. This is saying, okay, it's kind of freaky because we're literally seeing everything dissolve that doesn't serve us anymore as we go into the higher timeline, but we are being supported. So I'm really happy about that. Also, something else I'm really, really happy about. On June 9th, just 4 days away, the great benefic planet, Lucky Ducky Jupiter, enters his exalted position of Cancer. This is really, really good. This is an influence of great divine protection and positivity for the world and humanity. The sign of Cancer rules the people of the world, home, family, our emotions, countries, intuition, and silver, among many other things. So you guys, I'm not a financial advisor, but you have 4 days to buy silver before Jupiter goes into Cancer. Okay. And we're about to have a kick ass. Okay. This is the chart for the new moon in Cancer on June 25th in Cancer at a Cancer degree, conjunct Jupiter exalted in Cancer. So if we haven't seen something crazy go on with the silver, JC, you're much more knowledgeable than the silver with me, but this is a very big marker. This lunation and the month after that, something very big is going to happen with silver, for sure.
All happening at the same time. Yeah.
Yep. So we are receiving blessings in the Cancer ruled areas of life. Although the start of this transit in June can feel a bit heavy because Jupiter will be in a square to Saturn and Neptune until the end of the month, but we will notice a lightening of the energy significantly as we go into July. And then the bottom of that slide, you guys, is just for your own reference, that there's 3 major countries, the USA, Canada, and UK, have major Cancer placements. So throughout the whole next year with Jupiter in Cancer, there will be exact transit Jupiter conjunct the Sun of the USA and Canada, very positive influence, and also transit Sun conjunct the Moon of the United Kingdom. So if you want to screenshot there, that you guys, those will be significant dates for those countries when there could be very positive developments. By the way, JC, what happened, if you don't mind me asking, with the throne speech? And is that out the window, like with the election that could have possibly been called again? What's going on with that?
Okay. Talk about high weirdness. The government used a weird procedure that is on the books yesterday to pass the throne speech, quote unquote, with opposition, but without having a vote. It's kind of a sneaky way to say nobody wanted to show up to actually say yay or nay because there would have been hell to pay if the government had gone down, because it could have gone down on this particular confidence vote yesterday. And yet the opposition, who've been telling us, oh, Carney's not up to the job, he's not presenting a budget, we should call an election, blah, blah, blah. They had the opportunity to do that yesterday, but they didn't. They all agreed. Somebody called them. Somebody gave them a manila envelope, and you're like, motherfuckers, this thing has to pass. You're not throwing down the government. We said so. Somebody aligned my opinion. Somebody aligned all those people last night, last minute, to use this procedure to let it pass without an actual account of the vote. Again, it's been done in the past. Constitutional lawyers have weighed in on this. It is a legitimate tactic or a procedural outcome, but very rarely used, and specifically very rarely used in this context in a minority government who just a few hours before could have been facing a non-confidence vote, who just 2 days before lost a historic vote in the House to where the opposition was forcing them to present a budget before summer, which apparently now is non-binding. So it's kind of like they're showing the whole world this is all a gimmick. All those guys are all controlled opposition. They're not true. It's not real. But they were told, no, we have to keep going on this show. And if you've been watching Janine and I for the last couple of weeks, we've been looking at this money expenditure, the $500 billion, yes, that Carney is promising without any budget, probably has something to do with an external threat, including that coming from space, and why we're all seemingly around the planet jumping, spending money like crazy, including the big, beautiful bill for an external threat, whether that's the Elohim coming back, whether that's that message that came back from Voyager, who knows what, but they're preparing for something and they don't want oversight. And right now is not the time for an election. That's what happened yesterday. Hard to explain all of that in a soundbite for the normies. They're going to say, oh no, they just use a procedure, JC. It's all normal. Sure. Okay. Go back to bed. I'm not going to argue with you. No, it's not normal. It is procedure. Yes, I'll give you that. But it was weird. And again, none of the mainstream news who normally would be pounding on Pierre Poilievre's party. Oh, you're not really responsible. You're not doing a good job. They didn't say boo on the fact that they didn't show up to lift their hands, the air and nay, so that we could see who was a traitor. Nobody questioned them in the mainstream news. That is not normal. That's my point.
Yeah.
I have a lot of opinions tonight. I don't know what happened. It felt good to be outside picking up branches and being in the sun today. I don't know. I got feisty.
Yeah.
Okay. That's my answer.
God. Yeah. So thank you for that. So, okay, last slide. I know it's a lot of information. So we've got Saturn just changed signs, Neptune changed signs, Jupiter's about to change signs. And then this is where shit's going to get down and go weird. Okay. If it hasn't already, which it has. On July 7th, Uranus enters the sign of Gemini. Uranus, the ruler of Aquarius, the planet of innovation, rebellion, the future, shocks and surprises, technology, enters Gemini, the sign of communication, social media, information, our local neighborhoods, day-to-day gadgets, and short-distance travel. Gemini rules a lot of things in astrology, by the way. We're going to see huge advances in Gemini-ruled areas of life, in particular, how we communicate, how we share information, who's sharing the information, and how we socialize. Also, with Uranus being what we call the dispositor of Pluto in Aquarius, so the ruling planet of Aquarius is Uranus, this is going to amplify Pluto's transformational influence in the Aquarius-ruled areas of life. They will become even more potent. So we've already been seeing this since Pluto went into Aquarius. AI is starting to boom. We're seeing undercover groups with hidden hands being exposed, and weird stuff with ETs as soon as Pluto went into Aquarius at the end of November. This is all about to amplify significantly heightened themes of weirdness, shocks, ETs, astrology, possibly a new planet being discovered. Every time we go through a huge advancement in our consciousness, a new planet gets discovered. Outer space experiments, technology, typo there, sorry you guys, inventions and science. Also, Uranus has been at fall position in Taurus since 2018. This has been the most significant transit, creating major discomfort and instability in general, and in particular to the financial market and physical resources. So it's going to be really trippy with Uranus going into Gemini, but we're going to start to feel the new energy of the future that we're actually stepping into. So it's going to stabilize over time.
The new communication there, what does that look like? What do you think?
I think
right
there's
now
going to
we're
be
seeing here in Canada with their new bill that they're proposing. It seems that they want to go back down the censorship route. They want to give police the right to install like malware on your phone to read your emails without a warrant. Like it looks like it's going in the opposite way. What do you see here? How does that astrology kind of help us on the other side of freedom here?
I don't see that stuff going through at all.
No.
I see throwing out the gadgets that we have that were created with Pluto and Capricorn that have been spying on us the entire time, collecting our data the entire time. That's my personal belief. I'll share my Sagittarian belief.
Sure.
I think all our data has been accumulated since the moment we got our first smartphone, since the moment we got our first computer, going back to the 90s. I don't think this is just a new thing with AI. So Uranus and Gemini, I think, is going to bring that truth, Gemini, out into the forefront for our higher consciousness, Uranus. And we're going to be like, screw these devices and computers. And there's going to be completely new gadgets created, completely new cars as well. Gemini is short distance travel, cars, trains, all our gadgets are going to be new.
Yep. That's fascinating. That was part of Penny Kelly's keynote address, by the way, at the Beyond Mystic conference. She talked about that. What's interesting here, too, because we've seen in the last number of years, more and more of these startups that are building very smart phones, but without all of the cameras, the double spying, and all that stuff. They haven't really hit the mark yet to the point where the market's paying attention to them. But maybe this is the time where people actually start paying attention and say, yeah, I want my privacy and I'm willing to pay for this phone rather than that phone. There's that. Or like you said, all other gadgets. But it appears there's also something else happening. We're seeing it more and more. And if you're listening to Cliff on his Substack, he's living it more and more. And it's this idea that humans are, in fact, telepathic. And then they're sharing more and more information right now. We're having a better capability, whether it's the new energies from space, whether it's the breakdown of the energetic fence. Janine and I have been looking at this for the last couple of weeks. Something's happening right now to where these signals are coming in stronger to the point maybe where we're going to say, don't need a phone. Just think about the person and send your message and the person will receive your message. Can you pull on that, Janine, too, in terms of that psychicness and how it might be changing very quickly here as well? It's a woo show, so let's get into the woo.
People do that here a lot. So I'm on Haida Gwaii, and there's big chunks of Haida Gwaii that doesn't get any reception. So you could be going between communities 40 minutes and you have no reception. You have to go to certain beaches to get better reception, and like it's all kinds of crazy stuff like that. And everybody always just like somebody will pop in your head, and you just get a download that you got to go to their place, like something's happening at their place, so you go over there. They're having a potluck. Everybody just figured it out. Like it's really funny. It's like it's kind of happening. It's been happening here since maybe the beginning of humans here on Haida. But
all right, let's see what's coming in, because for a lot of people, that's going to be, is that the word in English? Disconcerting? Like it's a little bit tough when you have other people's thoughts in your head, right? Or when you hear other people thinking. Like, I remember doing shows with Gene Moonstone on this a number of years ago. We were very telepathic, similar to what Cliff is explaining now in some of his Substack. But it's kind of hard when somebody else is in your head, right? So, or you're in somebody else's head when you don't want to. There's weird things in there sometimes. Somebody says, "Do that more, JC. I like feisty JC." Okay, I don't know what got into me today. Could be the sun. I'm feeling sunstroke maybe. Yeah. So Janine, what does it look like in terms of these new abilities for humans? And is there any advice on how to maybe manage that transition? Because it's not easy. Right? It's not easy.
it'll happen slowly, and it's already happening.
Okay.
So this and that temperance card is also about when you're ready. So you kind of have to agree to it. So you probably have the ability already, but it's like going to wait for your permission, or when you give yourself permission to sharpen it up. Okay, because I can turn this off and on when I want.
Okay.
So I like I said, I've been doing that my whole life anyway, and I could turn that off and on. And I feel like everybody actually has that ability already. So it's a matter of, so it was a deep hidden thing about humans, and it was repressed in us and hidden from us that we have that. But some of us just never got that memo that we should hide that. And
Right.
we were always like that. Okay. So this card says, it's people are starting, it's naturally coming back to be reviewed, and it'll wait for you to be comfortable with it. Like, so this, you can develop this, and you already have the ability, is what I'm going to say. We're already strong in it. This is a human ability. We're just reconnecting with it. Yeah. And I feel like, so here we've got the King of Wands. Pretty soon, like King of Wands, when it's talking about sort of things developing, okay, because we're not talking about a person right now, it'll develop in a more outward way over the next, I'd say, year with that ace. So over the next year, where people are all agreeing and talking about it, but it's already developing and coming back into play for a lot of people, certainly in this community.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's already happening, and I feel like it gets way more public, and even normies and everybody's going to start using it here. And it's as you're comfortable with it, like it's available as you're comfortable. And it seems to just, even by October, you're going to see a lot more people maybe discussing it, at least in this community. And then it might take till next year. And I'm going to say August of next year with that card there, where now everybody's talking about it. Now it's common sort of knowledge that this is something.
So we had the self-care earlier. Then we said, we have to add to that for our community, to take advantage of the qualia, the messages from universe, and better your positions, help your children, like just, be the boots on the ground, rubber hitting the ground running type of things in this new world. But also now practice your telepathy, because you have access to it maybe more than before. So that's fascinating. Okay, crazy new world. Yes, wowza, fun time, says Lakeside Laura. Okay, I want to go back to the self-care part. Megan Sunny did talk about this on the show on the Beyond Crystals last couple of days ago. This was Wednesday. But I want to bring it up here. For a lot of us, the self-care, other than the 3D stuff, taking the vitamins, sleeping better, doing your exercise, there are other things that we could use that we have at our disposals to realign certain frequencies. And you have a brand new product here on the Scorpion Shop that helps you do that per your zodiac sign. So let me bring up the poster for that. Meg, explain to the audience members how they can take advantage some of these crystal packages that you've made here for everyone. Explain what these are and how to use them. Again, in this self-care scenario that we're looking into.
Yeah, so Sunny and I have created these intuitively guided astrological crystal kits for each of the 12 signs to support each of the 12 signs during these times that we're in, where we came here, we were born with certain astrological placements, in particular our sun, moon, rising, where we're here to kind of be in the role of that, to be in the character of those archetypes. And these kits help us to stand in our power, to be in our confidence and bravery, to align with our natural astrological energies. And each of the signs are also, they rule all kinds of different areas of life. So for example, with the Aries crystal kit, if you're not necessarily an Aries, but you're having issues with leadership or confidence or life force, you could work with those crystals, for example. If there's relationship issues, you could work with the Libra kit as well. So Sunny and I, we're both very passionate about crystals, and we've been working with them for 10 plus years. And we both talked about on the inaugural Beyond Crystals show yesterday about how our spiritual journey totally amplified when we started working with crystals. They're physical elemental beings, right? We have elemental beings like fairies and gnomes and nature spirits, and crystals are actual physical elemental beings that are here on the planet to help support us during these very big consciousness shifts. So yeah, I'm really excited to share the crystal magic with everyone.
By show of hands, in the live chat, let us know what so is this your rising sign, your sun sign? What is it based on?
You can do your sun, moon.
Sun, moon, or rising.
I would say sun most importantly, but you could do your sun, moon, and rising, or sun or rising, whatever is kind of calling out to you.
So in the live chat, let us know what your sun sign is. I'm curious if there's a majority of Librans in the chat tonight or Aries in the chat. So tell us what your sun sign is in the chat. We're going to be giving away one of these sets here tonight too, but I want to use a specific example. So that's why I'm looking to see what could be the majority here. So Aquarius, Sagittarius, Sag, Aquarius, Virgo, Aquarius. A lot of Aquarius there in that first row. Pisces, Taurus.
That makes sense.
Aquarius. Aries, Scorpio, Aries. Quite a bit. Actually, there's a lot of Aquarius there, oddly enough. Okay, let's use Aquarius. Do I have a poster? Can we pull a poster somewhere for Aquarius if I do it from the website, Meg?
Yeah, let me bring that up. 1 second here.
Let's see if I can do that. I want to give a direct example here for the Aquarians in the room, how this kit relates directly to them. So let me see if I can bring up your
for sure
page here. There you go. Remove this one and add this one. Does that work?
Yeah,
there you go.
That one. Yeah.
Okay.
So going to the Aquarius one. Yeah, this is what the kit looks like. So you get some of the crystals that we've intuitively channeled are associated with the sign of Aquarius. So do you want me to talk about why they're associated with Aquarius?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Aquarius,
listen, people can go watch your 1 hour show from Wednesday, but I just want to give them a little bit of a taste here of why these are so cool. I'm going to ask Janine to pull cards on how you guys manifested this and put it all together and put all your knowledge into this, because it seems fabulous to me. I'm like, this is more than what people think. So start with this one here, and then we'll have Janine pull cards on this as well. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, it's fascinating. Every single crystal is associated with an astrological sign. There's traditional associations, but Sunny and I, we like to use our own intuition. So when we were coming up with the crystal kits, we were looking through our own collections. We were kind of channeling, okay, which 3 crystals most want to work with, in this case, the Aquarians, for example. So dumortierite, numite, and sodalite are all in the Aquarius kit. And these are all crystals that are associated with, Aquarius, because Aquarius is about our higher consciousness. They all activate your higher consciousness. They're all about honoring the rebel within. They're very weird kind of crystals as well, in particular, the numite and the dumortierite. So the crystals are in alignment with the natural astrological sign energies, where they're very supportive for each of the signs. And Aquarians in particular, that's interesting because you guys have Pluto in Aquarius right now. So you're very much the way showers for us into the age of Aquarius. So these crystals are also like way showers for us into the age of Aquarius. So Does that answer the question, JC?
Yeah, it's so cool. And again, sometimes you need that frequency set just close to you to attune to it. Sometimes it's just off of your center and you can't get to it. Crystals are so powerful that way and really cool. And once you have a relationship with that crystal and you've attuned to that frequency, often you can call upon the frequency remotely. You kind of get quantum entangled with it. So you don't need it for forever, but sometimes they're really good tool to have, especially now in these weird times where everything is changing and you need a little bit more stable footing. So guys, check it out. So what I want to do, I just picked randomly here on my end. I wanted to give away the Aquarius set here to Julie Pim, Aquarian, she says. So Julie Pim, congratulations. Send me an email, beyondmystic.net, and we'll get that to Meg and Sunny. They'll send out this box to you here. Let's give away another one here too. Is there a question you can ask relating to maybe alignments for this show here tonight, to just random draw somebody and then that person can email you, tell you what sign they are, and you can give them their particular set? You want to give away another one, Meg?
Sure. Yeah, right. For sure.
Question for the audience members. What do you have, Meg?
Me? Yeah. What question do I have?
Yeah.
Okay. What sign is the planet Jupiter entering on June 9th? Very lucky transit.
Okay. While we wait for that to populate, Janine, let me bring up your card deck here too. There's something really cool that's happening in the background. You and I have seen this over a year. We're very excited about this new launch for Meg and Sunny. But these two have, I don't know, some kind of weird magic when it comes to crystals, and their intuitions and the way they've built this set is out of this world. It feels like they're getting divine guidance to that level, and it could be something related to, for example, the change that we just talked about, that maybe we're going to get a little bit more psychic, and we're going to need some of these tools here to smooth out that transition into this new world. Can you pull cards to see how Meg and Sunny come together and channel that information for the audience members, and how their products here are very, very well timed in this crazy change that we're living now? Janine.
This feels like it's saying we waited this is a long time coming and is really necessary. Because we're overwhelmed with what's going on. So many people are overwhelmed with what's going on. And I feel like a big part of this is going to help shift that. So see that in the background? So it's the people that are resisting change and resisting everything that's going on. This could especially help them. So it frees up the resistance and takes away, it supports allowing us to grow into all of the things that are coming, because so much change thrown at us. Like we saw that even with the changes in the website on the tarotbyjanine.com, almost threw everybody into a panic of...
Even though we've been warning them for 3 weeks that this was coming, and part of it we didn't control. I know. Yeah. Please don't email Sarah.
It was like navigating a shit show, excuse my language, in the last couple of days.
And it was odd too, because a few people, and I don't understand why, they all went to, I've been blocked. I can't do my comment. I paid for this. No, you haven't. It's just scroll down. It's right there. So anyways, people are, well, I get it too. The world is so crazy and they don't want to miss a second of all of these decodes to try to better navigate this. I understand, but it was kind of weird. You didn't keep going here on the crystals.
So it feels like this was long awaited and super necessary, because it's going to really help people allow them to absorb more. So maybe some of these stones you're choosing are going to help people open up more, because we have to open so much to this new world, right? It's like we've never been here before, and it'll help us feel safe. It'll help us move forward, like depending, of course, on which sign and what stones. But it feels like, generally speaking, it's going to help us actually heal into, and I get the word heal with that card, like heal whatever traumas created us to shut down in the first place. I mean, and I believe they were that was done to us by the deep state and, et cetera, right? All the bad guys. So I feel like everybody that was trying to shut humanity down, these stones are going to help nurture each person individually into taking on as much as they can and opening up as much as they can in a safe way, because this keeps it safe too, spiritually, to really just support that work we're all doing and help us, get to where we all want to go. Like that's what it feels like. It's no less than that. So,
Wow.
No less than that. It's just that. That's a tall order, Janine. Wow, that's fascinating. Thank you for that. And again, congratulations, Megan Sunny, on this new product. I really love it.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go back to the live shot.
And other parts of it are very sketchy, if you want my opinion. And even though Trump's pushing it, I would question a lot of what's in it. Okay, when you look closely at the bill, it gives AI license basically to run rampant. It's like giving years of unchecked AI growth and all kinds of things that are very suspicious, like almost deep state like potential here. Okay, now I'm not saying that Trump's a deep stater or that's a deep state Trump. What I'm thinking that's going on now, Elon, Trump's bestie, okay, is actually, and of course, you guys remember that I believe Elon Musk this is a brand they're using for Elon. It's not the original Elon. They just wanted the brand of Elon because he does bring a lot of people's eyes. Okay. And I think the original Elon probably had to face his own tribunal at some point because he does come from a deep state family. You just have to do your research and look into it. But anyway, this new Elon that they're trotting around, and he seems to be an ally of Trump. It looks like they're having a big breakup over this big, beautiful bill. All of it I've got in the cards with Jean-Claude when we looked at it. All of it looks like a big ploy. Okay, it looks like it's on purpose. It looks like a theater. And the reason for it, and this is what I'm going to ask the cards, are we right about this? The reason for it is I believe that the White Hat Alliance is trying to teach us, just because you really like someone, okay, you think you know them, okay, we think we know Trump, okay, and by the way, I believe they're using the Trump brand, and that's not the original Trump we're looking at. There's a lot of doubles running around playing Trump, okay, and but I believe Trump is working for the good and was originally brought on to work as the front guy for the White Hat Alliance. So just to recap what I've been getting for years. So it's not that I'm against Trump. I actually really like him, and I like the brand they're using and how they're using it. And I believe he has a lot in the background to do with, because he is one of the White Hat Alliance. Okay, so that's how I think about it. So it looks like they're playing out this good cop, bad cop thing with Trump and Elon, okay, over the big, beautiful bill. And my idea is, okay, because it looks so staged, like the whole thing, actually all politics all over the world is staged, in my opinion. Maybe it's always been staged right from the get-go, and they're exaggerating how staged it is just so people get it through their heads. This is staged. You guys, we've been absolutely fooled with politics from the get-go. And I think in particular with this big, beautiful bill and this good cop, bad cop thing they're playing out with Elon and Trump, I believe they're doing it so you understand, okay, that you, just because Trump's putting it forward doesn't make it good. Okay, even if you really like someone or you think you really like them, you think you know them, don't just say yes to everything they're doing. You have to think for yourself. I've been seeing that for a long time. That's a trend with the White Hat Alliance. They don't make anybody perfect and with no flaws. The brand they're using that they call Trump has flaws. He's really pushy. He can be obnoxious. He's egotistical. Maybe that's even why they chose him. Okay. In some ways, that's really funny. In some ways, it can be really offensive. Okay. Okay. But I'm believing that they're trying to show you everybody it has flaws, okay? And you need to really double check everything and always look for yourself at something. Just because someone puts it forward, just because I say something doesn't make it right, just because Trump says something doesn't make it right. Whoever you're putting on a pedestal, no one should be on your pedestal, okay? Everyone needs to be feet to the fire and held accountable. Okay, so I'm asking, is that actually what they're doing with that whole theater of Elon Trump kind of breaking up practically over the big, beautiful bill? Okay, because it causes everyone to look really deeply at the bill. Okay, with Elon saying, if Elon hadn't said anything, all the Trump lovers, all the truther community and patriots would have just got on board because they would have assumed, well, Trump said it was good, so it's good. Now it's being picked apart and looked at, and even truthers are going, it's a little sketch, right? When you look at the wording of it, and this is how they pass really bad bills and they get away with it. Okay, we just let them get away. We can't let anybody, even Trump, get away with anything that isn't for the good of humanity going forward. Okay, that's what I believe is being played out here. And I'm asking for my question today, the first question, is that the case? Okay, so if it is the case, we'll see some yeses or even soft yeses, or I could be right off the mark and they could actually be at odds with this bill. Let's have a look. Okay, so we've got the death card there, and that's a major arcana. And there we've got the Knight of Cups there. So usually a major arcana is a yes, so that's interesting. Now we've got the Moon card, so that's really interesting. The Moon, I feel like this bill's already dead in the water, so they are playing. This is a play. They're playing this out. I think they're already, two major arcanas in that row and then one above. I'm going to go, yes, I think I'm right about this. And we've got the Justice card in the middle. So I feel like they're really making everybody cross their T's and dot their I's on this and have a real look at. I think it's karmic and just for everybody to stop giving any politician, no matter how much you like them, any leader, no matter how much you like them, a pass on things. You have to look at everything with a really, really sharp eye, right? Yeah. Anybody could be, like their ego could get out of hand. Anybody, even if they're trying to do good, we have to hold everybody accountable. That's truthers. That's people like myself. That's Trump. That's Elon. Everybody in the public eye talking about things today needs to be looked at with one eye and then the other. And not to say we throw them all, like you don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. It doesn't mean I still really like what they're doing with the Trump brand. Okay. It's just that I think this is a teaching moment and they're taking that teaching moment. Right. So that's what it looks like they're doing. I'm going to go yes on that and see that 10 there. I feel like it's not going to end up passing because of it, or at least not in the way it's presented right now. So this is like, it sent all the digital soldiers, like that's digital soldiers, could be like good military, but I feel like it's more saying us digital soldiers. I think it's the digital soldiers. And this card here working away at. So I feel like it'll get revamped to a place where we can work with it. Okay, so it doesn't give AI just the freedom to, and or people developing AI to just run rampant and do whatever they want. Because when you look at that bill closely, it's absolutely overreach, right? Okay. Wow. Isn't that interesting? It's crazy times right now. Like we're getting into some real psychological stuff that these guys are doing. I've been noticing it for years that they're using very sophisticated psychological ways of moving everybody, because they got to move like an entire world population and get them to understand, some really interesting things that they've long been brainwashed out of, right? We've been brainwashed out of using our own minds, using our discernment, and we got to get back over there. And I feel like they're moving us over there. That's what I think's going on. So it's weird, it's complicated, but wow. Okay. Thanks for getting me through that one. That was interesting. A great new scorpioning shop just joined Beyond Mystic. So fantastic. We got Meg here, and she's got a really dear friend of hers, and they're doing this scorpioning shop together. And I think they just did their first show talking about crystals. So this is something that's really was missing in the Beyond Mystic lineup of things that you can get on our Beyond Mystic website. It was really, really missing, I think, for a really long time. Jean-Claude really wanted, and I also would agree, that we really needed access to crystals, and then people who know crystals and know the energies of crystals. Personally, I'm a huge fan of crystals. I mostly choose them just energetically, try to use my intuition. But these two, so Meg and Sunny, they absolutely know their crystals. Okay. And they're going to do a weekly show so we can all get to know crystals better, and also have the scorpioning shop, which, so everybody's going to have the access to the crystals that they talk about. So yeah, pretty exciting things coming up. There's a 10% off too. Astro Crystal, I believe. Use the code. Yeah. Astro Crystal. And it's the scorpioningshop.com. Pretty exciting, guys. Always growing here on Beyond Mystic. Yeah. Okay. So my second thing I want to do, and this is on popular demand. So I'm doing this because I got so many people asking for it. Okay. Writing me and or in the comments below some of the videos here. I'm going to look going into June. Okay. And I'm going to tell you why I'm in particular looking at this, because I think I just did a big look. But I think we need to do it again. We need advice from the universe on how to navigate the tricky times we're in. Just even as an example, okay, on my zodiac. So I did a big zodiac on the channel. So the tarotbyjanine.com. I do a zodiac spread once a month. And it's almost like getting a personal reading, like each individual might get something really different out of it, but it's really for the community and just checking in. It's not necessarily a news report. It's more personal. How's everybody doing kind of thing? And we look all around their sort of energies. Okay. And people find it personally really can really hit home for them. Lots of personal information can come as they view it personally themselves. Okay. But the thing I noticed for June, so I just put the one out for June. The thing I noticed in it was that there's going to be a lot of attacks coming to people. It's almost like the last hurrah of the bad guys. So the deep state, the dark cult, the Khazarian mafia. It's like we're like real desperate attempt to take down the truther community, it seems. Okay, let's hope it's the last attempt. And it looks like they were going to try to infiltrate through very directly approaching. So maybe in comments below videos, truther videos, they're going to directly try to get through to people, okay, who watch videos like this, but also people who share videos like this and are on big social media platforms. So if you have a big platform and you share a lot of different truthers, they're going to go after you somehow. I don't know how exactly. It didn't exactly say how. It just said that's who's going to get approached. Okay. I feel like they're going to try to infiltrate and approach. Okay. So also like they might even send bad information and make it look legit to truthers, and truthers might run with it. So we'll see a lot of fear porn. Now we've seen a lot of that, but I feel like this is going to ramp it up. They're going to ramp this up this month. So just that kind of crazy coming our way. Let's have a look at what the universe wants us to know about navigating June. It looked tricky. Okay, so let's have a look. As if it could get any trickier, but surprise, it does, right? Wow. Yeah, we are so learning to be incredibly intuitive, like agile. Look at the agility to that. Okay, this is a well-aspected. Sometimes the magician, when it's first, it's more badly aspected because now it's saying, the negative version of the magician is you can be tricked by the magician. and or it's basically wasting your time because it's a whole lot of misinformation. It can be about theater. It can be about, things played out that have no basis in truth. Okay, but this is a well-aspected magician, and now it's saying agility. Okay, there's agility to this. Okay, we're going to have to. So your best bet, it's saying basically, you will be successful navigating June. This is a success card. Okay, if you're agile, you're going to be and mentally agile, because the magician really goes along with thought, word. Okay, how we present in the world with our thoughts and words. There's a real sense of Mercury to that card. Okay, so our thoughts and words. Okay, so we're going to have to be mentally agile. Okay, and what that means is, when you see something that you're not sure is trickery or not, when something's out there and you're not sure if it's true or not, okay, or you're being contacted by somebody and you're not sure they're for real or not, okay, take your time and be very careful and double check everything. Okay, so ask a lot of questions if it's somebody approaching you. Okay, questions that maybe if they're saying there's somebody. Okay, so say somebody approaches you, they're Janine or they're Jean-Claude or whatever. Make sure you ask them really personal questions, maybe even about a show we just did or something like that, just to double check you're not dealing with AI. And by the way, most truthers, and certainly I'll speak for myself, and Jean-Claude too, and we've said this often, we never go after you under comments. Okay, we never go try to sell you stuff okay, but I got a feeling it'll be different than that. It's like they'll just try to infiltrate, energetically get at you. Okay, so it might even be different than trying to sell you stuff, because those people have been around for a long time. Those scammers that pretend they're truthers trying to sell you stuff. This will be different. There's going to be something different to it. Okay, maybe they're going to try to say, hey, share this information. I just got some really exciting. Share this video, share this. Okay, so be really careful before you share things coming from new sources, I would say, and also take your time and do some research, even more than you usually do. And I'm going to try to be better at this myself, okay, because I tend to share a lot of things. For instance, on Telegram, I'm guilty of that, absolutely, and I don't actually check. I'm just trying to share whatever's out there, and I expect everybody to discern for themselves, but I'm going to actually try to be even more careful than usual. So all of us are just going to need to be really careful. If you are a truther yourself or have a platform of your own, be leery of new people trying to come on to be interviewed and or sending you information. Okay, so wow. Yeah, it's going to, it will definitely ramp up. Don't forget to have some fun. Okay, this card wants you to have a little fun, have a little sense of humor. Like, you're going to need to be easygoing this month just to get through the month, because it'll be so nuts. Okay, so try not to get all depressed at how much more work and mental agility you're going to need. Try to have fun with it. Try to make memes about it. Try to laugh about it. I find that humor really helps get through the hardest times. Okay, but absolutely, see, that card wants you to wait, think about things, let them sit. Okay, let them percolate. We'll often get, and it's already started, it seems like you'll get something that makes no sense to the usual scenario, and then it doesn't actually play itself out. So everybody shares it, but then nothing comes of it, okay? Sit on things that are brand new and taking us in totally new direction. Sit on them for even a few hours or days and make sure they're actually going to be a thing. Okay, so I know we're really fast at sharing information in this community, but I feel like we might have to slow it down a bit and be just extra cautious. And don't forget to have a little fun as well. Have a little humor, share a little, maybe even memes about how wacky it is. Okay, guys, thank you so much. Thank you so much for supporting the Beyond Mystic,
Ôn quan, giám sát. Hôm nay bắt tay vạch tội hoàng đế, có lẽ hơn phân nửa giữa bọn họ sẽ có một hồi hung binh bại chiến. Thời điểm nhạy cảm như vậy, kết cục phức tạp như vậy, Dương Lăng lại đột nhiên đề nghị Trình Đốn qua đạo. Hắn muốn làm gì? Lưu Cần và Dương Đình Hòa lập tức đều đề cao cảnh giác. Dương Đình Hòa tiến lên một bước, đang nghĩ biện pháp ngăn lại. Tiêu Phương vẫn đứng ở đằng kia như ngủ gà ngủ gật, chợt mở bừng mắt. Danh chức Dương Đình Hòa đứng ra, khom người thì lễ nói: Hòa thượng, lão thần nghĩ không ổn, lại chỉ hủ bại làm vốn cầu căn nguyên. Lão thần nghĩ cần bắt đầu điều tra từ khoa đạo. Khoa đạo không trong sạch, lấy gì để thanh lập quan lại? Việc thực thi này dù dễ dàng chỉnh đốn toàn bộ quan lại thiên hạ, nhưng vẫn hơi nhiều cố kỵ nha. Chính đức hoàng đế hăng hái nói: Cố kỵ? Có gì cố kỵ? Tiểu các lão nói nghe một chút. Lão thần tuân chỉ. Tiêu Phương híp hai mắt lại thành hai kẽ hở, tay vuốt tròm râu nói: Hoàng thượng, khoa đạo môn quan chịu giám sát bất quan, tuần tra quận huyện, trọng trách sửa chữa đồ án, chính là quan giám sát điều tra quan viên. Giờ lại đi điều tra họ, ai sẽ đi điều tra? Nếu để khoa đạo quan tự tra, bao che cho nhau, chiếu cố cho nhau, thì hoàn toàn mất đi tác dụng chỉnh đốn răn đe của triều đình rồi. Nếu lựa chọn phái quan viên từ trong triều đi điều tra, thì phải là quan viên tỉnh chịu giám sát điều tra, phái quan lại đi điều tra phụ trách đốc tra. Nhiều năm qua như vậy, quan lại vẫn bị môn quan giám sát điều tra. Một vài quan viên khó tránh khỏi có chút tư oán, hiện tại trái lại để làm cho bọn họ đi điều tra khoa đạo. Quan viên khoa đạo ắt sinh kiêng kỵ, cũng rất có đảm toàn quan viên phái đi thanh tra không chính trực, không ôm tư oán. Lệ này mà mở, từ nay về sau khoa đạo quan sẽ lo lắng quan viên vì bọn họ đốc tra bất cứ lúc nào cũng tra lại vụ án của họ, kiêng kỵ lẫn nhau. Xuất phát từ tâm tư lo lắng này, ắt sẽ giúp nhau giải vây, làm cho kỳ cương bại hoại. Lời vừa dứt, các quan viên đều suy nghĩ, nếu bởi vậy làm cho môn quan không dám nói, quả là đáng lo nha. Chính đức hoàng đế cũng biết rõ những môn quan kia, tuy rằng ngại xin người, bình thường nắm một vài việc nhỏ lông gà vỏ tỏi, thế nhưng là Thái Tổ Hoàng đế thiết lập khoa đạo môn quan tự ứng sự tồn tại của nó. Chỉ thế này chưa tìm ra được phương pháp giám sát quan viên hợp lý hơn so với bọn họ, cho nên chính đức cũng không do dự nói: Khoa đạo môn quan mở triều đình ngôn nộ, giám sát lời nói và việc làm của bách quan, can hệ trọng đại, không thể xem nhẹ việc này. Không chỉ mỗi Tiêu Phương từ sớm đã được Dương Lăng thầm chỉ bảo tùy cơ hành động, Dương Nhất Thành cũng đã bứt rứt chờ từ lâu rồi. Dù Dương Lăng không thể tin tưởng dữ liệu cảnh tượng hôm nay, nhưng phương pháp, sách lược đại khái đã định ra rồi. Chỉ cần một lời thuyết phục thay đổi sơ lược là được. Chút về đấy dĩ nhiên không làm khó được Dương Nhất Thành. Thấy tình cảnh này, binh bộ thị lang Dương Nhất Thành biết mình phải ra tay rồi, vì vậy ho khan một tiếng đứng ra thi lễ: Hoàng thượng, khoa đạo môn quan mở ngôn lộ triều đình, giám sát lời nói và việc làm của bách quan, xác thực can hệ trọng đại. Cũng chính bởi vì khoa đạo môn quan can hệ trọng đại, cho nên khoa đạo càng không thể hù bài được. Bằng không sao có thể gánh vác trọng trách mở ngôn lộ, giám sát bách quan, chấn chỉnh triều cương, pháp luật minh bạch. Thần cho rằng Dương Quốc Công nói rất đúng, Tiêu các lão lo nghĩ cũng rất đúng. Thật ra chỉ cần dùng đúng phương pháp là có thể đạt được mục đích mà Dương Quốc Công xướng nghị, lại có thể tránh được hậu quả mà Tiêu các lão lo lắng. Dương Đình Hòa tài học hơn người, cũng trung thành thân tâm vì nước, chỉ duy lòng dạ không đủ rộng lượng. Lúc cùng Dương Nhất Thanh vào triều làm quan, bởi vì tính cách không hợp lại tuổi trẻ khí thịnh đã hiểm khích nhau. Hai người đều là hạng người tâm cao khí ngạo, lại tự cao tài học không chịu cúi đầu trước đối phương, cho nên bởi vậy mà thành đối đầu nhau. Lúc này vừa nghe Dương Nhất Thanh cố ý lừa gạt, Dương Đình Hòa lập tức đứng ra châm biếm, cười lạnh nói: Dùng phương pháp đúng như nào? Dương Thị Lang cứ nói thẳng ra, nói nửa ngày bách quan muốn nghe nhất là phương pháp đúng như nào, đáng tiếc lại vẫn chưa biết. Trong quần thần lập tức vang lên những tiếng cười trộm, Lưu Cần cũng cười vui vẻ. Hôm nay hay rồi, Tiêu các lão không biết uống lộn phải thuốc gì mà lại phản bác cậy Dương Lăng. Dương Đình Hòa, Dương Nhất Thành lại tạo nên bút mắt. Các người cứ nắm tên đi, cho dù các ngươi làm náo lên, càng loạn càng tốt, càng loạn thì chúng ta mới có thể được nứt béo cò. Dương Nhất Thành mỉm cười nói: Cũng không phải là hạ quan hồ đồ không biết, dùng phương pháp đúng như thế nào. Hoàng thượng cơ trí hành binh, trong lòng đã sớm hiểu rõ. Từ lâu đã làm việc tương tự nên hạ quan mới không tốn nước miếng. Trong lòng hoàng thượng hiểu rõ từ lâu. Quân thần nghe vậy lập tức kinh ngạc nhìn Chính Đức. Chính Đức nghe cũng không hiểu ra sao. Dương Nhất Thanh vừa dứt lời, văn võ bá quan đồng loạt nhìn lại, trong kinh ngạc lộ vẻ sùng bái kính ngưỡng, tức thì thắt lưng ưỡn thẳng, cả người cũng nghiêm trang. Tấm lưng thẳng tắp, dáng người nghiêm trang, trong lòng thì vẫn đang cân nhắc. Nhưng điều này cũng không làm khó được y. Có thể lên Bạch Đăng Sơn dọa cho đó Nhan Tam Vệ và đám tù trưởng nữ chân tam bộ sừng sốt, còn không cả được đám trần tử này hay sao? Chính Đức Hoàng thượng ho khan 2 tiếng, giả vờ thần bí mà cười nói ra. Dương Ái Khanh nói rất đúng, cái này đích xác chấm đã nghĩ tới. Xem ra các vị Ái Khanh còn chưa rõ nha, Khanh hãy nói cho họ nghe đi. Dương Nhất Thanh mỉm cười, con người nói: Thần tuân mệnh. Sau đó lại quay lại nói với quân thần: Các vị đồng điêu hẳn đều biết, Cẩm Y Vệ là tổ chức nắm giữ việc trọng đại không hợp pháp, nhưng là vì hạn chế Cẩm Y Vệ, phòng ngừa họ lộng quyền, làm trái pháp luật, lại thành lập Đông Xưởng giám sát Cẩm Y Vệ. Sau đó lại có Tây Xưởng giám sát Đông Xưởng. Thì đương kim hoàng thượng đăng cơ lại thành lập Nội Xưởng giám sát Đông Xưởng, ràng buộc lẫn nhau, phòng ngừa một nhà độc đại, thiên quyền động hành. Hiện giờ bách quan tư quyền hại dân, quả đảo giám sát bách quan nếu như dò xét lẫn nhau, thế ắt sẽ bởi vì có điều kiêng kỵ mà dung túng nhau. Thế nhưng nếu thiết lập nhân viên giám sát khác giám sát khoa đạo môn quan mà không lệ thuộc bách quan trong triều, như vậy sẽ không nảy sinh loại bệnh trùng nghiệt này. Thì như trong Huân Thần Công Khanh, chọn thành viên tài đức bành toàn, thanh danh sáng suốt, chuyên tổ chức giám sát khoa đạo, còn họ không hướng bách quan cũng không liên quan cùng với khoa đạo. Bách quan địa vị cao cả. Ngoài ra, bách quan khoa đạo thường trực mà Huân Thần Công Khanh cũng chỉ giám sát điều tra khoa đạo, bất cứ lúc nào cũng có thể rút ra. Nhân viên bất định, ban sai hoàn tất thì quay về giao nộp chỉ. Lần sau nếu như cần, nhân viên được chọn lại không nhất định như vậy thì có thể phòng ngừa được bọn họ can thiệp triều chính, từ đó mưu lợi bất chính, làm việc có thể công bằng. Huân Thần Công Khanh đại minh ra không làm quan tại triều, nhưng theo lệ thường thế này, hoàng đế thường tuyển nhân viên từ đó đảm nhiệm chức vụ riêng biệt, để như là tiễu trừ phản bội, kê án, đi sứ vân vân. Làm xong việc nộp chỉ vẫn cứ không can thiệp chính vụ, cũng chẳng bao giờ loạn chính. Trình đốn khoa đạo cũng là đặc cách. Tuyển nhân viên trong Huân Thần Công Khanh, hoàng thân quốc thích có thể chọn người thỏa đáng, cũng không tính là làm trái với quy tắc tổ tiên. Tiêu Phương làm bộ giả dạng như là bừng tỉnh ngộ, vỗ tay tán thưởng. Thì chắc là thế, lão thần ngu dốt, hoàng thượng anh minh, đề nghị này rất tuyệt diệu. Vương Hoa cũng đứng ra khỏi hàng, chắp tay nói: Hoàng thượng anh minh, thân tán thành. Trong quần thần lập tức có một đám quan viên đứng ra đồng loạt chắp tay nói: Hoàng thượng anh minh, chúng thần tán thành. Trịnh Đức thế vậy vui mừng nói: Nếu các vị khanh gia cũng đồng ý phương pháp này, các khanh xem trong hoàng thân quốc thích, Huân Thần Công Khanh có người nào có thể phụng chỉ ban sai không? Bộ mê tung quyền này vừa đánh, Lưu Cần đã hoa cả mắt, đến giờ mới nhìn ra chút môn đạo. Trương Thái, Tào Nguyên lại sớm hơn Lưu Cần một bước, ý thức được Tiêu Phương, Dương Nhất Lăng này giấu giếm sát khí, hai người lập tức liên tục nháy mắt ra hiệu cho Lưu Cần. Không ngờ Lưu Cần chỉ mải nhìn chăm chăm Dương Lăng, vẻ mặt hồ nghi suy đoán dụng ý thực của người này, căn bản không để ý tới ánh mắt của họ. Trương Thái thấy hoàng thượng đã đồng ý rồi, biết sự việc đã mất đường xoay chuyển, trong lòng quấn lên, không kịp trưng cầu ý kiến của Lưu Cần nữa, cũng quyết đứng ra tấu nói: Hoàng thượng, nếu như thế thần tiến cử thành quốc công, thành lão công già tuổi già đức chiêu, hy vọng cao có thể đảm nhận được nhiệm vụ này. Trong Huân Khanh cũng chỉ có thành quốc công hy vọng cao, mạng lưới quan hệ có thể chống lại Dương Lăng, đề xuất lão mới có thể chặn miệng người khác. Hơn nữa vì lão công gia này am hiểu đạo giữ mình, không tùy tiện đắc tội với người khác. Cho dù không ưa, lão cũng không mạo hiểm đắc tội Lưu Cần mà phái người trắng trợn sửa trị nhất phái Lưu Cần. Nếu chỉ có lấy vài người để gõ đánh, ứng phó việc này, vậy thì chỉ tổn thương da, không động cốt, không có trở ngại gì lớn rồi. Lúc này Lưu Vũ cũng kịp phản ứng, hiểu động cơ của Dương Lăng. Dương Lăng phí sức nhiều như vậy, chẳng những vừa hóa giải vừa phản công, hóa giải nguy hiểm bách quan trị hình ở ngọ môn. Hơn nữa lợi dụng cơ hội bách quan yêu cầu hoàng thượng lấy tội sửa tội, chiếu tướng. Đây chính là muốn nhân cơ hội chèn ép thế lực của Lưu Công Công ở Khoa Đạo. Lưu Công Công thừa dịp Dương Lăng thay mặt thiên tử đi tuần thú không ở kinh sư, lại xin chỉ lại bộ khảo hạch quân viên, kiểm tra phủ kho, sửa trị tham mô, các kiểu kỹ năng gần như là lấy hết ra rồi, mới có được một vị trí nhỏ nhoi trong Khoa Đạo đứng vững ở nối cáp, khiến cho Khoa Đạo bị hãm và tê liệt, không thể làm gì được. Lý Đông Dương, Dương Hùng Hòa hiện tại lấy Lưu Cần không có biện pháp, thậm chí vẫn yếu thế nhượng bộ, cũng là bởi vì Khoa Đạo đã vô pháp hình thành dư luận nhất trí, không cách nào sinh ra ảnh hưởng đối với hoàng đế. Dương Lăng chính là muốn mượn cơ hội chỉnh đốn Khoa Đạo, xua đuổi Lưu phái nhà. Quyền lực trong triều luôn luôn nắm giữ trong hai thế lực, một là hệ thống lại trị khống chế định cấp,